No, we're on time, but answer what you want then.
I like that you asked the rules question because I think I'm a bit unconventional in that sense. I don't have any rules. And I think any rules that people are following in the context of dating should be thrown out the window. So that's where I go back to the customization of the process and the approaches that I take. We're all individuals. We're all unique. We all have a different offering. So I think to expect a cookie cutter approach to something that as personal as dating is a little bit unrealistic. So for me, I work with the clients to find out what they're comfortable with. What are their comfort areas? What boundaries need to be expanded? What boundaries need to be tightened up? And from there, we establish rules that apply to them. So they're always personal.
So it would be okay for some people to accept the date if the guy didn't call by Wednesday night?
Yep, absolutely. If that's the right scenario for that person. Somebody asked me on the weekend what my take was on, the sex rule. How many dates do you wait for that? And again, my answer was the same. And that's, obviously a more symbolic undertaking. And same thing, it's whatever you're comfortable with. And are you doing these things for the right reasons?
What are the wrong reasons?
Loneliness, low self-esteem. Do you want me to keep going?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because I think a lot of people enter into relationships with partners they may or may not want, and sometimes they marry them, and it's for the wrong reasons. So
Absolutely.
yes, speak on that.
Which part?
Why we enter into relationships with partners we know really we shouldn't be with for the wrong reasons. Why do we do that to ourselves? Is it a familiarity pattern or?
There's so many reasons, but I think fundamentally, given our culture and our society, we tend to have voids that exist inside of us, and we look externally to have those voids fulfilled. So that can be in another person, in food, drugs, alcohol, sex. And so very often you find that people gravitate towards a relationship to heal them out of something that's not sitting right inside of themselves.
Now, getting back to the online stuff.
Yes.
Is there anything you recommend that you do not put online? Like in a profile, for example. Is there something you should write and things that you should not write to attract a mate?
Okay, so I'm going to be a bit hypocritical
also,
here.
I guess careful for yourself, right? It's online, you have to be protected.
That's a separate issue. Absolutely, there's a safety component. But in being hypocritical, I do have one rule, since you asked, with online dating, and that is do always tell the truth and don't lie, period. There's no excuse for it, there's no reason for it, and
It's just going to get you in trouble later on.
yeah, and it's false advertising. Going back to the marketing scenario, you're just
Interestingly
falsely advertising.
enough, okay, I'll admit that I've done some online dating, but I had stopped because
I'm shocked.
I found a lot of lies.
When you stopped online dating, internet traffic plummeted.
Actually, what I found was a lot of men who were married and pretending not to be. And speak on that. Why, my feeling was, okay, first of all, I do not date married men at all. I'm not interested.
Not knowingly.
Not knowingly. But I feel like if you're in a marriage and it's so terrible or you're so unhappy, don't go online and pose and pretend that you're single. Leave your marriage, because for me, a single man...
Or work on it.
Yeah, or a separated man is neither single nor divorced, right? I want somebody who's definitely single, available, and able to be committed into a relationship. So I don't know, why do they do these things?
Oh my. There's a Pandora's box.
Yeah, well,
let's open that
it.
box.
It's open.
Oh my.
These are good questions.
They're great questions. I think we could sit here all afternoon and then into tomorrow. Maybe by Friday we will have scratched the surface. So why do married men do this? Again, it's for a multitude of reasons. I think primarily they're fundamentally unhappy in their relationship. I mean, it sounds like stating the obvious, but I think that's what it comes down to.
Right, but there's other ways of doing it. You don't need to go online and pretend you're single.
I agree with you. I'm not a proponent. I heard an interesting stat the other day, and unfortunately I don't remember the source, but it said that 33% of men on free dating sites are married. So when I encounter them, I encountered one last night actually on Plenty of Fish. I was working with a client, and I encountered a man who actually was honest enough to say that his status was married. So I messaged him and offered up the ashleymadison.com URL and suggested that he take his business over there.
Yeah, that's for men who want to cheat.
I'm getting the strangest look right now.
Hey, Cupid. No, but seriously, it does. Ashley Madison is and there's also sections, I think, on Lavalife and other sites where they list that
where
as
infidelity
an
is promoted.
Yes.
But you know what? I actually think I used to talk poorly about those sites, and they used to anger me, as they do many single and married women. But now I actually appreciate them because it gives the married men who are having challenges for whatever reason a playground where they don't have to intervene or interfere with genuine single people trying to meet one another.
Okay, but is that I mean, you just think about that for a second, right? I mean,
Which part?
Everything
Okay.
about that. I mean, like, what should happen? What would be ideal in that circumstance? Is the guy just not married to the right woman, or should the guy be allowed to marry more than one woman? Or
Not according to
should,
Shane,
or
Mom.
what? Or should everybody just get back to the good old monogamy thing? What do you think, Stacey? You're in the business.
Yeah.
We need the answers.
I think monogamy is the biggest challenge that we are presented with these days. I think we all struggle with it. I think the thought and the concept of settling down with one person for eternity is romantic, and women, more often than men, idealize it, but it's a challenge. What do I think married men should do if they find themselves unhappy?
Well, it's not just married men either. Let's
It's
be
women
fair
too.
about
True.
this,
It is
Women
true. I'm
do it
glad
too.
you said that. So what do I think married people should do when they find themselves, gravitating towards the dating side? I think they should seek counseling, whether it's individual or couples, and quickly assess whether or not this is a relationship worth salvaging, and if it's not, get out.
Do you think as a matchmaker, do you think that there's a really ideal mate for everybody on the planet?
I do believe in compatibility, and I don't know that I believe in soulmates, but I believe that there are long-term monogamous relationships that can work when both the people want to be there. So if you have two people who want the same things, who are committed to the same ideal outcomes, and they work in alignment with one another, then yeah, I do think it can work.
It's odd though, because when we started today, I was saying how the stats show that marriage is down, and people are choosing not to marry. They're choosing to stay in long-term dating relationships and or living together, whatever. Where there's always that, there's that way out very easily, no financial commitment, that sort of thing.
And I don't know that that's entirely true, because with cohabitation and
yeah, but that if you're living together for a year or two and you're actually sharing, I'm talking about people who don't go even that far
Fair
because
enough.
they don't want.
Fair enough.
They want to move on after a while.
Right.
Friends with benefits.
Friends with benefits, yeah, or some sort of relationship with benefits. So there's a lot of that too today, and I think maybe this whole issue of commitment phobia is something worth discussing, because it prohibits the actual commitment.
Yes.
Making of the actual commitment.
Well, I think people are gun shy, and I think with good reason, because when you look at the divorce statistics, they're not in committed couples' favors. Right? I hear anything from 40 to 70%, depending on the society, what year you're looking at, the variables considered. But divorce rates are high. That's the reality. And so people are scared to commit, and I think rightfully so. I think where we fall short is in our selection process. And so I have read stats that suggest that working with a matchmaker or some sort of intermediary increases the likelihood of a marriage succeeding, simply because you've got somebody doing the selection with you or for you.
That's right. That's what I was going to think, that people could solve all these problems by giving you a call, right,
I would love
Stacey?
that. Thanks, Hugh. I would love that. That's a great segue.
We're going to have to get you back, because we don't have a lot of
Because I
time here
talk a
right
lot?
now. No, because it's a really great topic, and we haven't even begun. Like you said, we could be here till Friday,
I think
and
so.
we wouldn't even scratch the surface. So
I'd love to come back.
I'd love to have you back.
Thank you.
But in the meantime, let's give your website out.
Sure. It's www.sittinginatree.com.
we figured that out. It's from
And-
that poem. Remember that poem when you were a kid?
Yeah.
I remember it.
Yeah.
I remember
well,
it
you
too.
named it.
I was afraid you were going to make me sing it and say, where'd the name come
Well,
from?
I
made me
did
do
want
that.
to, but we don't.
And so Tracy, you also have a giveaway today for the first caller in.
I do.
And it's an online dating profile makeover.
Correct.
And it was worth $250. Well, actually, it was worth $550, but you're giving it for $250 or something of that nature. Please explain.
Originally, you and I discussed giving it for $250. Its retail value is $500, of course, plus the HST. But because I've had such a great time today, we'll give it away free to the first caller.
Awesome.
Okay, great. So that's 416-204-9723 to the first caller. And if you don't call in and take it, I'll take it. So I can resume my online dating should my dates not work
Exactly.
out tonight.
Oh, there you
there's
go.
the phone. Somebody beat me to
Wow,
it.
that was fast.
Okay, thank you very much. And we'll
Yeah.
be right back with
With Jasmine and Leo.
who are
We're going to get some
love poems.
love poems for Valentine's Day, just in
Okay.
time. It's perfect.
Okay,
We'll be
thanks.
right back here on Liquid Lunch.
Thanks for having me.